If you're an executive, a leader, you may be wondering if you can get premium coaching from AI rather than having to invest in the expense of a human executive coach. If you're a coach, you may be wondering if all your inquiries and lead flow will shortly disappear, if they haven't already. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what AI can and can't do in coaching so that you can decide how to respond to the opportunities and threats of this technological game changer. But first, click the subscribe button below to get more videos on Leadership Inside Out. Okay, so the question is this: can AI replace executive coaches? And the answer is yes, it can, and no, it can't. Don't worry, I'll still be answering the question once we have some clarification. Sorry, it can't be one or the other, but it all depends on what you consider to be executive coaching. To simplify this, I'm going to categorize exec coaches as operating in three distinct dimensions. The first and the most common is that of performance. Your business or team is struggling, and you need to turn things around before it's too late. You've opted for an executive coach, not a business advisor or consultant, because you want that personal accountability and oversight. The focus is on performance or doing. The second dimension is the psychological one. You're stressed, unhappy, maybe depressed, even burnt out. It's impacting your work, and you want someone that will help you feel better than you do at the moment. You're happy to employ a coach with a psychology background because you believe that you may have issues, childhood traumas even, that are holding you back, making life difficult, and impacting your work. The focus is on the mind, thinking and feeling. These two dimensions of mind and performance can easily be coached through AI. The reason being that they are essentially rational, and there is a massive volume of digital content associated with them that AI can tap for answers and creative approaches. No human coach has access to this mountain of information. The third dimension is the existential one. It deals with all the challenges that exist in the other dimensions, but it does so from a different perspective, one of being. This existential realm of being lies beyond thinking and feeling and is subject to neither. Whereas, without being, there is no experience of thought or emotion. So the focus here is on being. AI can think better than any human. AI can't feel, but it can make a pretty good fist of simulating emotions. AI, however, is not sentient. It cannot witness or perceive. So if you coach within the existential dimension, AI cannot replace you. If you are looking to be coached in this dimension, AI will not work. It will always revert to the practical or psychological. Some AI can simulate this approach, but only by parroting what others have said and not speaking from felt experience. Now, the vast majority of coaches operate in the first two dimensions of thinking, feeling, and doing. Hardly any coaches operate beyond these in the third dimension of being. So AI poses a huge threat to most coaches, whilst offering their clients more choice at a fraction of the cost. But of course, all threats are just opportunities disguised. And the challenge is for executive coaching to elevate itself into this existential dimension. I call this kind of coaching inside out because it recognizes that it isn't the world out there and people in it that make us want to change. Neither is it really our thinking and feeling, which are just symptoms. It's all to do with perspective, the way in which we observe or witness what is going on around us and within us. Once you clarify your perception, thought and feeling will stabilize quite naturally, and the path to practical solutions for any challenge will emerge. But if you try to think your way out of a problem, whether it's practical, intellectual, or emotional, you'll just go around in circles. Have you ever had the experience of wrestling with a problem, only to find the answer when you give up thinking about it? Have you ever tried to reason with an emotional person, Or have you tried to change the mind of someone that's immersed in an ideology? You cannot deal with any challenge in its own dimension, and that is because any problem, dysfunction, or issue is symptomatic of misalignment in a higher dimension. This isn't woo-woo, this is cause and effect. Or as Einstein was reputed to have said, you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So a CEO client of mine only solved the problem of two warring directors when she suddenly realized that she was creating the conflict without even knowing it. Another CEO client only sacked a rogue director when she realized that by leaving him in post, she was complicit in his behavior, which was forcing the business off the rails. An FD only transformed the relationship with his boss when he started to see clearly the part his own beliefs were playing in the mutual animosity. In each case, it was perception that transformed everything: thinking, feeling, and doing. When you start to see the world in this way, everything becomes very simple and much easier to engage with. It's a huge relief for a client to finally leave a crippling trauma behind them when they realize that they have that choice without having to go through years of arduous and harrowing therapy. That is the existential approach over the psychological one. So what I'm saying here doesn't invalidate practical and psychological interventions. If a client has no awareness of the impact that their behavior has on others, a personality profiling or psychometric tool may be very valuable. If a CEO is constantly fighting fires and failing to work strategically, they may well need someone alongside them telling them exactly what to do and how to do it, at least temporarily. But most leaders have evolved beyond these needs. Now they are ready to step into that existential dimension, which is so much freer, lighter, and more inspiring. So to summarize so far, AI is an excellent coach in the realms of doing, thinking, and to a lesser degree feeling. It cannot coach in the realm of being, since it has no existence equivalent to that of a human. Moving away from dimensions of coaching to styles of coaching, a particularly useful distinction is that of directive and non-directive coaching. My experience is that the most effective coaching will make use of both according to need. Now, AI is perfectly capable of delivering both, but struggles with knowing if and when to shift between them. That skill is critical to the very best coaches and precludes AI from competing. I recently asked ChatGPT for some Socratic coaching, a form of non-directive questioning. The result was underwhelming and somewhat predictable. So what I'd really like you to take away from this video is an understanding that coaching need not and should not be limited to what you do, think and feel, but needs to extend into an awareness of who you are and also what you are not. This can only come through a heightened perception or seeing within yourself, something that AI cannot deliver for you because it cannot do for itself. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.